so I decided I wanted to go for a walk. It's like 20 degrees outside and I was way too hot in my house. It was only at like 58 degrees. And I was like, you know, tired of sweating. I've been wanting to lose weight anyway because I'm a fatty. And I want to get up and move around. Like when your blood starts feeling thick and you can just feel it pulsing really hard against your throat. Oh man, I'm like, no thank you. I don't feel like dying of a heart attack today, so, or tomorrow or the day after. I got things to do, so. I was like, I'm gonna have to go for a walk. But like my first instinct this morning was to go get a Sprite out of the little mini fridge. And I was like, well, honestly, I would kind of like to tackle the next little item on my 2025 bingo cards. I was like, I think I'm just gonna get an apple and put a slice of lime with that. And like, just take a bite of apple and then scrape off some of the lime. And then I did that and it took care of my Sprite craving. So there is still sugar in an apple, but it's way healthier because it is complex sugars, not simple. The apple was a really good decision. It helped with the Sprite craving, so I'll probably have another one of those later. But right now, for my accountability purposes, just to kind of have this laid out, I am currently sitting at like 230 pounds, and I need to lose a lot of weight. I would like to get back to kind of the goal is like 165, 170. I was very happy at 135, but it was a struggle to stay there. So like 140, 150 I'd be okay with, but it'd be easier to aim for 170 because even that would be amazing. Editing a bunch of videos, got another one marked, and that was hilarious because you might have seen it by now, but that one I titled White Girl's Spice Tolerance on the little thumbnail. My hubby was like, why would you do that? They're gonna think something dirty. I was like, they can think what they want. The actual title of the video makes it obvious. That's, you know, it's not perverted or anything, but I mean, hell, one of my other videos, I was like, my big black scarf, and I was like, I mean, I guess I got a little bit of a twisted, perverted humor there. But, whatever. A little bit more out of breath at the moment because I'm going up a hill, which is great. I'm going to try to go all the way to the highway and then go back, which will give me plenty of time to talk. Okay, so I'm back. I'm laying down because I just woke up from a nap and I wanted to kind of go over a little bit of the things that I've done recently. I went for a walk. It was 4 miles. It was 2 miles to the highway and then 2 miles all the way back. And that was great. It was 20 degrees outside. It was amazing. And I've been keeping the house like 58 or so. So I got a little too warm. So the walk was definitely worth it. It was awesome. But after I got back, I ate. And then I got really sleepy. So I don't know if it was the sugar because it was a sweet barbecue that was in the food, or if it was just because I haven't been sleeping well. I think I actually slept okay-ish, but it wasn't enough. I got about 6 or 7 hours last night, so it is what it is. I've been having trouble recording this, and there's a bunch of stuff that's happened that I kept trying to get into, and like when I was walking my phone died, so that was lovely. But the first thing is that I've been redoing, like making a mock-up of the AMCAS application. I couldn't find it, so I just like screwed and went on to a YouTube channel of I forgot the guy's name, but it's called Medical School HQ, and I got on there, watched the videos, kept pausing so that I could recreate the form, and then whenever I'm most of the way done with that, but not always all the way. There's several fields that I will be updating later on. I wanted to have a mock-up so I can kind of do it as I go through undergrad and, you know, try to add my experiences and everything else and log hours and all that. So, try to keep myself on track for getting recommendation letters, everything. Anyway, so when I was doing that, I worked on a bunch of the fields. I turned them light yellow if I was just gonna have it manual entry or whatever, and then I put a light red color if it's like a formula, because there's a part of it where it takes the hours that the credit hours from school, and it divides it up into 2 different areas. And I don't want to have to, every time I put in a new class, like, a class that I've taken in grades and like the credit hours or whatever, I don't have to manually do that. I'd rather it just automate it for me. So I wrote in some formulas for that, and where it splits it between the BCPM, which is biology, chemistry, physics, and math, and then the all other classes, there's 2 little things on there. I went ahead and added an extra field out to the side of the form and made the text really small, so every time I add a new class, I will either put BCPM or I'll put AO, and that way it'll take it all the way down to the bottom of the form, and it'll auto-calculate it. So that way it'll separate it out. I still have to manually put in the GPA, but that'll be fine. I don't care. Oh yeah, for the form, once I'm done with it, I may just add that to the shareable file that I keep on every video. There's a link under every video, and then also in my YouTube channel description, where I share a Google Sheet file that has like multiple pages that are linked across to like the different pages within, and then like to one other document and to a PDF. I'll probably put it in there once I'm done. I don't know if I'll make it part of that file or if I will just link to the file that I'm using. I'll probably just make it part of that file so that as I update mine, you don't get all that extra information or whatever. So, but yeah, no, if you're thinking about going to med school and you want to do the application and stuff, and you want to try to start getting a heads up ahead of time, then I would definitely recommend watching Medical School HQ on YouTube. That's one of the guys that I watch, and he's really informative. There's a lot of stuff I wouldn't have thought of. Like, they don't like it when you're salesy, and this comes off arrogant, and like a lot of times we don't think we're writing what we're writing. We're saying what we're saying between the lines. So he points stuff out really well, and I thought that was amazing. So I'm going to try to incorporate everything that I've learned from him into my med school application. And I will just keep updating it as years go on. Like, I haven't even started the college stuff yet. Like, once I made the decision to go to med school, I have not even, like, gotten my admissions letter yet. And, like, 2 months ago, I already wrote my personal statement for, it has to be, like, 5,300 characters long, including spaces. So, like, 1 page or less. And, like, I know that it probably isn't a good idea to do it that early, but I'm fine with that because I'm not in school yet. I have all this time now, and I already know why I want to go into medicine. And I feel like getting it done now means I will have less to worry about later, because I'm an overthinker and overwriter, and I will spend hours and hours and hours trying to make something perfect. And I did. I spent through, I think, 2 weeks on that. So some of that is in Notion. I will pull that over and put it in my application for the little digital version. Whenever I make the blank version available for y'all it's all for free. I'm not selling it. When I make that blank version for free for just the practice stuff, you guys will be able to, like, fill stuff in. I won't have a bunch of notes on there explaining everything, but I will have a video if you want to go back, and I'll do a walkthrough of it, so you know what to mess with and what not to. Y'all can just make a copy of it and practice or whatever if you want. So there's that. But no, one of the things that I was having trouble trying to not go too far into was when I was looking up my siblings' birthdays so I could figure out their ages, because, after you get sold, it's hard to keep track of all that anymore. Plus, I have 15 siblings that were all part of the one family, It was an adoptive family, so there was multiple adopted, family was blended together, partials and fulls. And then there was also their kids that were, you know, grown and out of the house, but they were from 2 separate marriages and all that stuff. So there's a lot of kids running around that we all call each other brother and sister because legally we are, and then biologically we are or are not. So there's 15 of us that are legally brother and sister, you know, because they were either born from them or adopted by them. But then we have siblings outside of that, so it would actually total 23, and at least half of them I've never met. So out of the 15 that I count, I couldn't remember one of them's name, which was insane. I haven't met all of them, but or if I did, it was brief, and it was at a family reunion when I was like 10 or 11. As I got older, they didn't do as many of those. So, yeah, no, we there was a lot of us, and it was hard to remember all the birthdays. And I got all of the younger 7, but I didn't get all of the older 8. And 3 of those are all dead, you know, between all 15. 3 of them have died. One was back in 2008. One was in 2022, and then the other one, I don't know if it was 2021 or something. But while I was doing that, I found out that my adoptive father also is dead. So, good riddance, for one. And let me explain. That guy deserved to be in prison for what he did. And he tried stuff with me, and then he moved on to my little sister. Enough said. The DA here in town, whenever I had left home and reported it to the police, the DA said they weren't going to prosecute. The DHS, the ones over children's cases, refused to work with it. Transferred over to Adult Protective Services, and then they got her out. Because there was enough evidence to back up what I said. Like, it was bad. And there has already been a lot of PTSD and trauma because a lot of the domestic violence and all the other things that went along with. There was psychological abuse. There was every form of abuse you could think of except for drug abuse from them. They never drank or got high. I mean, they were against that. So like there were some morals that they imparted. There were things that they were good parents for, and there were things that they were bad parents for. And with him, I'm just like, good riddance. At least it means that a few more little girls are safe. You know, young teenagers, as he liked them. So, I cried whenever I found out. But then it wasn't so much, oh, my dad. It was a little bit of the shock. A lot of unresolved stuff. And then also, like, the last, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes of crying. Last 5 minutes was knowing that, you know, at some point he was dad. And, so yeah, no, it's messed up. It's very complicated. And, I was angry and disgusted that I cried at all. So, I mean, it's like, I'm glad he's gone. And that means that there's a little bit more safety in the world. Unfortunately, it's just, there's always going to be more of those out there. And, yeah. It sucks. Yeah, no, it's a lot because there's a lot of trauma, and I have always been too open, so I trauma dump a lot. I go through things, and then I repeat them, and then I put myself back through it, because I'm just continuing the loop. It's stupid. But, I mean, I also know that being so open means that I get through it faster, and that I face those demons, basically, the inner demons. I face them, and, like, I drag myself through their same crappy, flamey rut.
all the time, and that's a bad habit of mine. So, like, I don't know. Just trying to think of, like, I want to rewire myself to where I don't have that habit. I have never ever separated from someone who's a monster the good that they have done, or the human side of them. So that's one of the reasons why it was so easy for a lot of my family to take advantage of me and to mistreat me, is because I've always been the peacemaker, the person who tries to make things better for other people, and I've always blamed myself for not being able to make things better. And because I was willing to put myself in harm's way in order to try to reach through to them, to help them out of their whatever they were going through, it made it so much easier to manipulate and lie to me because I was gullible. It's one of the reasons why I wanted to work in corrections, so that I could start seeing things for what they were, because I knew that I couldn't. So I like to look for my weaknesses and go and fix them, learn the skills necessary to change me, toward what I need or want. So yeah, no, that was a bit of a shock. I got on my Facebook page, and I put on a scathing good riddance message, and I probably shouldn't have. I'll probably have to go and delete it. But I was on there, and I was like, and that blah 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 cuss words. I was like, I'm gonna have to be better. I really need to be better. Oh, man. Anyway, I need to get more of the videos edited, and there was more that I was going to talk about. I don't remember what all. I do know that when I found out that he had died, it was literally like 3 hours before my interview at Arby's. And I was like unaffected by the time I was at Arby's. I had already moved on and was just reading a book about how to pay for college, and was like, Oh man, it was great. Oh yeah, I remember something else now. So one of the things I wanted to talk about was, for those who want to be a manager, I can tell you a secret when you're interviewing. And a lot of people learn this with time. Some people learn it because they went to school for it, and other people just know because they just know.